Hello. I am Axel, and I am your narrator today. Please, sit back and listen to our cozy mystery story. We hope you enjoy spending time with us. And if you do, it would be terrific if you would click the like button for this story or leave a comment. You can also subscribe to this channel if you want to enjoy more of the same. Now here is our story. The Pearl-Handled Letter Box. By Nadia Jordana. Lydia found the intriguing letter box around the first week of July, shortly after she and her husband moved into the old Iowa farmhouse. The house, built in 1875 by a farming family, was plain by citified Victoriana standards, but there was no mistaking the bones of the structure. Lydia and Neil Stinson inherited it after the death of Lydia's parents, Jennifer and Samuel Ridgway. Jennifer was the daughter of Isaac Wilcox and his bride, Lily Branson. Isaac was from a long line of farmers, and as was often done, his father had carved out 500 acres from his own 1,500 to give their budding family a solid start. Eventually, the entire parcel was passed down to him and later on to Jennifer and her husband. Samuel was a businessman in Des Moines, not a farmer, so he and Jennifer never moved into the house on the farm. They leased out the land to neighboring farmers. A creek running through the pasture delighted the children of each generation and quenched the thirst of many a dairy cow, Holsteins, and Guernseys alike. Lydia and her brother Andy loved running back and forth through the muddy creek bed. One hot summer day, they did this. Andy lost a shoe in the mud, sucked it right off his foot. Try as they did, they couldn't find it, and Andy was forced to walk home with one bare foot to face the music for losing a brand new shoe. Other times, the creek was higher. They would spend hours searching out crawdads to play with and sometimes use for fishing bait. Lydia remembered playing in the old house's attic as a little girl when visiting her grandparents. Cold in the winter and beastly hot in the summer, she spent most of her time up there in the spring and fall. However, Grandma gave strict orders not to dig through her trunks or personal items, and as kind and loving as she was, she had a stern demeanor. Lydia always followed Grandma's wishes. However, there were plenty of old dresses and dolls to play with and some interesting old books she liked to page through, though she was mainly looking at the pictures, usually lithographs. To this day, she has a deep appreciation for lithographic art. When Grandpa Isaac died, Grandma Lily went to join him less than 6 months later, and the house was left to Jennifer and Samuel, then sat empty for several years. When Lydia and her husband, Neil, first moved in, she began to look around, cleaning, dusting, wiping, and tossing old junk. She was surprised to discover there were still some of Lily's private trunks left abandoned in the attic. But it wasn't there that Lydia found the letter box. She found that in the far southwest corner of the eaves under the floorboards. If you've ever lived in an old house, you've likely noticed the floorboards in the attic stop and leave a gap all along the eaves, the width between, and the depth of the 2x6 rafters. It was there that, as a child, Lydia had tucked away a few unique treasures. Today, she thought she would get down and feel underneath to see if anything remained of her secret stash. She already knew some of the first things she found would be dried ears of corn and a corn husk doll. She also found a bag of marbles. So that's where they disappeared. All these years, I thought my brother stole them, she muttered. Wait! What's this? Her fingers found something hard and smooth, a box she didn't remember stashing. She had to struggle to retrieve it, wondering how it ever got down there in the first place. She finally pulled out the box and realized she had never seen it. Seems I'm not the only one who likes to hide things, she said out loud, speaking only to the ghostly memories of the past. It was locked and looked very old. The finish was black lacquer, measuring about 9 inches wide, maybe 5 inches deep, and 3 inches high. There were small handle-like finger holds on each side and laid with mother-of-pearl. Around the edges of the top was a border pattern of more inlaid mother-of-pearl. It was the kind of box a Victorian lady might have sitting on her dresser to keep gloves, pencils, trinkets, and yes, letters. She shook it, and it rattled. There was something inside. A letter? Oh, maybe an old love letter from Grandpa or even some other suitor of Grandma Lily. Lydia thought that she had been beautiful as a young woman, and Grandpa wasn't the only man who noticed. She took the box downstairs and showed it to Neil when he came in for supper. Honey, look at this lovely box. I found it in the attic. It must have belonged to Grandmother Lily. I wonder where the key is, she said. I don't want to break it open. I tried a hairpin, but that didn't work. Would you help me and see if we can find the key? Sure, let's start by looking inside the dressers and desks in the attic. She must have had a place where she kept keys and other important small things, although it seems odd. Your mother didn't do that after Lily died, wouldn't she have? Yes, I know. She would have. But then, she didn't have the box, so even if she had found the key, she wouldn't have had anything to match it. However, household and furniture keys made in those days were fairly universal. They often fit other similar items. We should check the keys we already have, too. I have a few orphan keys I keep in my dresser. And I saw a stray wooden tray on a shelf in the old garage. I'll start there. You try the attic. They searched most of that afternoon and came up with several keys. Nothing fit. Disappointed and about to give up, Lydia found a matchbox in the drawer in the Hoosier baking cabinet in their farmhouse kitchen under some old warranty certificates. There it is. The key, I know it, she thought. Excited, she hurried to the dining room, where the newfound mystery box sat on the buffet. Neil! Look! I think I found the key. Neil came running up the stairs at the urgency in her voice. This was down in the kitchen. I think it's the one we need. I wanted you to be here when I opened it. He grinned at her words. Carefully, she tried the key in the lock and turned it. There was a soft click, and the key slipped into place. It's open, Lydia said as she gently lifted the lid. They reached into the box simultaneously, wanting to be the first to discover what Lily had hidden away. Surely there are letters in here, love letters. I just know it, Lydia said as she reached. But Neil beat her to the discovery and lifted a small bundle of loose papers. They looked like they could be letters. Note paper, 3 folded. Give me one of those to look at, please, she begged. You take the top one. There are only 2, so fair is fair. I'll read the other one. As Lydia unfolded the dry yellow sheet of paper, her eyes widened with delight. Neil! This is Grandmother Lily's prize-winning pickle recipe. She won the grand prize with these pickles 5 years running at the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines. It's been missing for years. Mother gave up searching long ago, but I always hoped we would find it. I remember Grandma's pickles. I can't wait to make them. She was famous for them and proud of her ribbons. Lydia smiled and thought to herself, I've got pickling cukes coming up strong in the garden. What if I make the pickles and enter them in this year's competition? Surely they will win again. What is in your letter? Lydia asked Neil. It's another recipe. Sort of. It's a list of ingredients for navy bean soup. Do you remember ever having that when you visited her on the farm? Yes, although I never saw her use a recipe. She had it committed to memory. Everyone loved it. We'll have to try it in the fall. I know how to make farm-style soups. I can work with this. Everything goes in the pot, and you cook it all day, she grinned. Hey, this will work well in my slow cooker. No mystery here. August, Lydia finished prepping her pickles. Since they are a cold process, naturally fermented pickle, and she was making a big batch, she stored them in the extra refrigerator in the basement. Once these are at the ideal flavor point, I will add vinegar and stop the process. Otherwise, they will continue to ferment and get more and more sour. Some people like them that way, but Grandma Lily added this secret extra step, and I want to be true to her recipe, she told Neil. The following week, she took them to the state fair and entered them as Grandma Lily's half-sour hot refrigerator dill pickles. Once judging day rolled around, Lydia visited the family living exhibit building where the canned goods, produce, anything and everything related to horticulture was housed. She was delighted to see her pickles sporting a ribbon. Not just a blue, first prize ribbon, but purple. She had won the grand prize. At that moment, standing in the prize pavilion, thinking how lucky she was to have found the box, Lydia realized she hadn't given the floorboards along the eaves a thorough search following the discovery. I wonder what other treasures I might find up there. She mused. Grandma Lily's half-sour refrigerator dills. 5 to 15 Kirby cucumbers, or however many you can fit into a 2QT jar. 1/2 teaspoon coriander seeds. 1/2 teaspoon mustard seeds. 1/2 teaspoon black peppercorns. 1 teaspoon hot red pepper flakes. A few pieces of fresh dill. 3 bay leaves. 6 cloves garlic, minced. 1/4 cup sea salt. 2 tea sugar. 6 cups water. Ice/2 cup raw apple cider vinegar, add after fermenting, see number 10 final instruction. Instructions. Wash cucumbers and trim off blossom ends and stem ends. Stem ends can be bitter, and blossom ends contain enzymes that make pickles soft. Dissolve sea salt and sugar to make a brine. Mix all the dry ingredients, coriander, mustard seeds, peppercorns, pepper flakes, and 2 bay leaves. Put the cucumbers in a 2-quart jar, then add the minced garlic and spices. Pour the brine into the jar. If you have any brine left, disregard it. Add a few pieces of fresh dill on top. Make sure your cucumbers are completely covered in brine. Weigh them down if necessary and close the jar. Put in the refrigerator. Let them sit for at least a week before testing and eating. They are done when the taste is to your liking. There is no correct answer. Best when made in a half-gallon jar. Option: after 1 week to 10 days in the fridge, add 1/2 cup raw apple cider vinegar and let sit for a few days. This is to keep the pickles from getting sourer over time.